2 a.m., I unpack the contents of my suitcase. The moon is rising on an earth divided, and I'm here with my brothers and sisters trying to be the bridge. My 2 decades were dotted with important global moments: the right to gay marriage, the Human Genome Project, the referendum that freed South Sudan. So I took the flight thinking maybe we could change something. Life is more bitter when it's decided in your absence, so this was me showing up. From the air, Kakuma looked like any other refugee camp I'd visited before. From the ground, it brought to light the truth of an earth divided. 7 billion people at the breaking point. Hearing about crisis and seeing it are as different as speaking about change and making it. One is fleeting and relies on the attention span of a restless planet. The other is everlasting and delves to the core of what makes us human. I was 7 when the first astronauts populated the International Space Station. 11 when the tsunami hit Indonesia. 18 when the first Arab woman won the Nobel Prize. 19 when I voted for the first African American president's second term. 23 when women all around the world took charge, marching in solidarity. 24 when I set foot in Kakuma. In December of 2010, a Tunisian street vendor set himself on fire and sparked the revolution that would define the decade. The world continues to spring forward every day, his life a flash on the proverbial timeline, as if the most important of moments are only decided before we are born or after we die. The refugee protocol, the eradication of smallpox, the day when we can all finally reverse the effects of climate change. I begin to wonder if the air was as restless when my mother marched for education, if the people were as divided when my godfather and his friends organized for freedom. How do you bridge a fissure that seems to transcend time? In the absence of progress, we put the truth, the future ahead at the expense of our own well-being, with the constant question, are we doing enough? Are we asking enough? And are we enough? Can we bring forth a change in paradigm so pronounced it begs the walls to break, it asks the earth to shake, and when it shakes, when it breaks, will we grab onto the closest thing that we can find? In my mind, we find each other from Sana'a to Lesbos, from Paris to Berlin. I saw people in London in solidarity with kids in Ramallah, mothers from Syria sending love to families at the borders. On a Friday morning, I hear the news of New Zealand as I prepare for my own prayers. My veil draped over my sister and I, our mosque covered by security that day. The words, "Hello, brother, welcome," plastered into our minds as the last thing one of the uncles said before the shooter opened fire, an offering of peace in a moment of disaster. There are no words for the perversion of a safe space. Nothing is more wonderful than the art of being free, but nothing is harder to learn how to use than freedom. Those words are as true today as they were in the 1800s. From vigils to protests, from planning sessions to movements, we're joined in our humanity. From dinners to prayer circles, we're bringing the good. We're growing up to become the leaders we wish for as kids, choosing triumph, choosing hope over the problems that threaten to erase us, making change not in spite of, but because of who we are. My grandmother never learned to read or write. Women weren't allowed to learn in Sudan back then. Millions of girls are still stuck in that same space, yet I'm here, the granddaughter of an illiterate woman, the daughter of immigrants, a Muslim, a millennial, standing before you, unfazed by the people that still greet us with hatred, untouched by the rules that denied our humanity. When the plane coasted over Kakuma, the fields of white below, too low to be clouds, too organized for stones, I wanted to close my eyes, but reality wouldn't allow me the luxury. Now, I'm proud to say that yes, we're still stuck at 2 a.m., but 2 a.m. the day before our evolution, 2 a.m. the day before everything changes, as long as we change it together. The world is more bitter when it's decided in your absence, so this is us showing up. This is us choosing love. Thank you.